The public sector wage bill is said to be one of South Africa's largest line items on the expenditure side, accounting for roughly one-third of the total expenditure in the budget. Treasury says the cost of paying public servants has gone up from 154 billion rand in 2006 to 679.1 billion rand in 2024. Amid this, workers will be looking to the finance minister for relief, with COSATU's Matthew Parks saying not enough is being done to protect workers against a tough economy.
It's a myth that the public sector is bloated or the public service wage bill is out of control. In 1994, we had 34 million South African citizens. We had about 1.2 million public servants. Today, the population has nearly doubled to 60 million South African citizens, and the public service headcount has remained at about 1.2 million with about 70,000 vacancies. In fact, what we are seeing is that a rising ratio of health workers to patients, of teachers to learners, of police officers to society. And that really makes it very difficult for public service to provide the goods that society depends upon. It really puts public service at a stretching point. So you have a nurse covering for 2 or 3 vacancies. You have doctors working 48-hour shifts. We've seen the police headcount, in fact, decline from 200,000 to about 170,000 in the past decade. Treasury admits that, in fact, the wage bill has decreased from 35% of the budget, where it was stable for the last 15 years, and over the past 2 years, it actually declined to 31% of the budget. So the wage bill is shrinking.
The 2025 budget comes in a year of wage negotiations in the public sector for about 1.3 million government workers who will see their 2-year 3% wage agreement lapse in April 2025. They say the collective bargaining process should be respected. Labour expert Mojalifa Musi says the finance minister finds himself in a difficult position.
You are not addressing the problem by targeting a particular almost already vulnerable section of the labor market. You almost have to reconstruct the whole public service, I'm afraid, and ensuring that the wage bill between the highest and the lowest is very, very, very minimized. If you cut out the fat, you cut out the corruption, you cut out all the blue lights and everything else, surely we'll have a proper picture of what it means to run a state and not harp on the 10.5% of the wage bill. The 10.5% of the wage bill, 90% of that goes to senior management and politicians.
The public sector wage demands have been revised several times from their initial 12%. Now government has tabled a final offer of 5.5% in a multi-year agreement. Saftus Newton Masuku says they'll reject an anti-poor budget that serves to undermine public service.
Since after the 2008-2009 global economic crisis, successive budgets have imposed devastating cuts in public expenditure under the guise of fiscal consolidation. At the heart of these budget cuts is the relentless drive to achieve lower deficits to GDP, dictated by the IMF, credit rating agencies.
Economist at Old Mutual, Johan Els, has cautioned that the new wage offer will put pressure on expenditure as the 5.5% is higher than what was pronounced in the mid-term budget.
It's a high increase compared to where inflation sits. It's higher than what government has targeted, as you said. In October, they set an increase in the total wage bill of 4.8%. Now, with this 5.5% increase, probably there will be some savings in terms of the scheme for early retirement. So I think at least 4 to 5 billion rand extra this year. So again, pressure on expenditure. So that is unfortunate. So in an era when we have to cut expenditure, there's actually lots of expenditure pressures.
The workers say government has itself to blame for the lack of economic growth. Civil servants have called on members of the public to join them on Budget Day for a demonstration outside Parliament. They vow to reject any budget that does not speak to their needs. Katlego Logodi, SABC News in Johannesburg.